Welcome to Great Greys, your one-stop shop to finding winners across Australia from the world of greyhound racing. Host David Shortte is joined by Hall of Famer Neil Brown, Jason Campbell to look at Queensland and Tasmanian chasing, Sean Matheson looking at South Australian chasing, New South Wales expert Simon Orchard, and the Shane Train Williams rounds it out with his key plays and kennel mail in WA. Now, over to the team for this week's edition of Great Greys.
Good morning and welcome along to Great Greys on this Thursday, the 26th of September 2024. David Shortte with you. I hope you're all really well. We've got lots of tremendous chasing to look forward to right around this great nation over the next few days. And joining us to have a chat all about it is the Shane Train Williams. Hello, Shane-o.
Yeah, good morning, Shorty. Good morning, listeners.
Nice to be with you. Good to be back home, sleeping in your own bed.
It certainly is, Shorty. Yeah, it's great to be home. Been on the tools non-stop since I got back, and I've had a few early nights, Shorty, so not used to that hard work, but good to be home.
Well, it's certainly a good time to be back home as well. How has Iconic Jet settled back in? Of course, finished runner-up in the SA Derby final there last week. The trip home, no problem for the dog, home in one piece?
Yeah, he got home in one piece, and we'll just maybe give him a couple of weeks off now and just, unless there's a race next week, and might give him a trial. I haven't even looked at the calendar, but, yeah, come through the trip home really well, and, we'll just take one race at a time from now on, and like I said, a couple of them better races towards the back end of the year at home, Youngstar Classic and races like that. So, you see what I've done to Ripper Moses, the trip away, come out and bowled it in last week at Mandurah on Saturday night. So we're hoping it can do the same with him, just mature up a little bit and, get that last little bit of strength out of him.
Absolutely, and we saw that dog come out and run particularly well. We've talked about it often being the making of young dogs going away and travelling, and you might not have necessarily got the ideal result in the final, but second's still a nice result, and you could be sort of the winner out of the process long term with this dog having that opportunity to mature and develop a little bit with this trip away.
Yeah, well, that was always the plan, Shorty, with him, because as I've mentioned before, he's very highly strung and he just wants to do things 100 miles an hour. And I did notice when he was over there, he had settled down a bit and relaxed a bit. And since he's come home, his attitude's changed a little bit. He still wants to do everything 100 miles an hour, but he has come down a few pegs. And, like I said, I remember Robbie Britton always telling me trip away is always good for him. So always had that in the back of my mind. And, no, we didn't get the prize last week, but the experience for the dog, I'm in no doubt in my mind it's going to prove to be a good thing for him going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of South Australia, they've got another cracking program to look forward to tonight. We'll have a chat to Sean Matheson a bit later on the program, but we do get to see a tremendous free-for-all for the stayers where Black Silencer, I thought this dog was outstanding last week. It goes around. But then we've got these match races, the SAV All-Star match races, and we see Excavation taking on Eula Bale, Hector Fawley up against Victor Marley, Exile Bale takes on Tim Zoo, and then Morton up against Riot Rooster in what will be a tremendous match race to round it out. Some of Australia's best sprinters strutting their stuff for tonight's program there at Angle Park. They've really got things going. Aside of the performances and the racing itself with Iconic Jet, for many of us that haven't been to South Australia for some time, just give us a bit of a feel for how South Australian chasing looked in comparison to WA chasing and what it was like being at Angle Park there last Thursday.
Yeah, well, one thing for sure you can pass on to Sean. I got really well looked after over there, Shorty. The kennel staff, track staff, and all the stewards were really friendly and made you feel very welcome. So that's one thing I wanted to touch on before I answer that question. But the racing over there, they're very similar to us, Shorty. They've only got 3 tracks. Mount Gambier is an option for them, but it's fair way away. Not many people go there. Gawler, interestingly enough, is finish on meeting only, which I think is a real good thing for the dogs. Haven't had that since Cannington shut down. We used to have it once a fortnight. I just think it's a real good reward for the dogs, Shorty, to finish on after the race, to get that reward. In there with their mates in the pack, and I think it's something we need to bring back here. I know Cannington shut. We've talked about a little bit of bringing it back in at Mandurah. Hopefully we can, just, even if it's one meeting a fortnight, just to give them dogs that reward at the end of the race. So I think it's a big thing moving forward. But all in all, Shorty, the racing over there is really good. Their facilities are good. The Angle Park was state of the art. The kennels and the track was really good. So I ventured to Gawler. All the food was nice, Shorty. As you know, I would have probably sampled a bit of that. But all the canteens and stuff at all the tracks were really good. And I didn't get to Murray Bridge, but just Gawler and Angle Park. But I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. And I'm looking to sort of get back there maybe next year with one out of the next litter, hopefully, Shorty.
Excellent. Oh, that's good. Really nice. It's just good to get a bit of feedback. Always like when we speak to trainers that have been interstate, just to get a gauge on the facilities and the differences between racing in different states. But sounds like it was a pretty good experience for your good self across there in South Australia. Plenty going on across here locally, and we've got some good chasing to look forward to, namely on Saturday night there at Mandurah. My goodness, the heats were electric last week, and we've been left with a first-class lineup for this Greyhounds WA Spring Gift Final there at Mandurah on Saturday night. Malfetta Cruz, the winning machine. My goodness, this dog's been in an unbelievable vein of form of late. It's won its last handful of runs, including the Group 2 Mandurah Cup in dynamic times, it must be said. 27.09, 26.93, 26.90, 27.14 and 27.27. So not only is the dog winning, but it's really been putting the times on the board. I'll take you through the market with Tab Touch as it sits, Train, and then I'll get your thoughts on the race. So Malfetta Cruz draws box 7. It's comfortable in a wide draw. It's been popular early, 250 into 225. Barbecue Man, 460 and firm. Transcendent, 550 out to 6. Wise Barra off box 1, 8 into 750. Sunset Nightjar, 7 to 750. Sunset Hornet's been 8 into 750. The first reserve there, Inside Scoop, 10 into 950. Second reserve, Hinto, 11 out to 12. West on Booney from box 5 is 14 into 13. And Chef's Kiss, 26 out to $34. The boys did speak to Dave Robertson this morning on the Sports Daily. He suggested that Chef's Kiss is an unlikely starter for that final there on Saturday night.
Yeah, I did hear that, Shorty. It's a pretty important scratching too, because I thought Inside Scoop would get a chance to run a drum in this race. You mentioned Derek Campana and Malfetta Cruz. I think it'll be a sad day on Sunday. I think Nick might be back, or he could be back at the end of the week, so I'll be taking the dog home, I would think. But look, the dog come to Eric and Joe and all the Campanas in really good form, and it's hard, Shorty, to keep a dog up winning when you get it in such good form. And they've definitely done that. They've done a terrific job of it. They've worked the dog out pretty well, and like I said, he's drawn out where he wants to be. Definitely hard to beat. What price did you say he was?
225 in from 250.
Yeah, 225 is probably about right. He's met all these dogs in the Cup, and it'll be good for Eric to take out the Spring Gift. And such a wonderful producer. We touched on her a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately this is the second and last litter. But done a great job, Eric and Joe, and obviously Nick will be very thankful for that. And I just did think the 9 now, Shorty, would be a rough hope of running into the placing. So I thought Malfetta Cruz, and if you wanted to throw Inside Scoop in as a roving banker sort of play, he could hit the frame there at big odds. Yeah,
no, wouldn't be surprised. Off some recent runs where it's been finishing the race off quite well. The other dog that does appeal a little bit on the rove up is one of the other outsiders of the field, West on Booney, because as a Galaxy winner, that this dog, regardless of what happens early doors, is going to be smashing the line. So it's the other that appeals to me a little bit from a roving perspective in the race.
It does tend to look a bit messy with Wise Barra in one as well. We do know it's got speed and wants to get up the fence, up the track, sorry. So, anything that can sort of just miss it and flop the fence there is going to get a good run. But, it's an interesting final, and I think, as like I said, there's a few of them that are boxed upside down. So, good luck to everyone that has a runner there on Saturday night in the Spring Gift Heat, Shorty.
Absolutely. I thought Myaniki Boy looked to stand out there as an early look for Saturday night. Drops in grey, draws box 2. Off that wide.
Inside Scoop out, possibly.
It's
one now, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. It should be getting the chocks. I would have thought it's just been a bit of a winning machine of late. Now let's get your thoughts for Northam chasing today, Shano. We've got a program that gets underway at 4:32 WA time this afternoon. 12 races up for debate. I note that one of your runners. Stevie Manelli's on the back up after a nice win earlier on in the week. We may get your thoughts on it a bit deeper in with some kennel mail, but we'll go through your key plays for Northam to start off with.
Yeah, it's a good meeting up the hill, Shorty. It was a little bit tricky for me with 6 runners in across the meeting, so I had to sort of steer clear of them races. But I'm going to kick it off race 5, number 3, Cheers Jacks. Dog trained by Max Julian, lightly raced son of Bernardo, stepping up to the 509-metre trip for the first time. He was brilliant winning his maiden in 22.35 at Mandurah for a quick 6.26 early, so I thought it could find the lead and prove hard to beat. I don't think it's a hard race to win, and should be a long way in front, Shorty. Might tippy-toe at the end, but hopefully we're a long way in front. Race 5, number 3, Cheers Jacks, to kick us off.
All right, race 5, number 3, Cheers Jacks, 1 for Max Julian. And, that maiden time, 22.35, is certainly suggesting that the dog's well above average. It is, of course, a son of Bernardo, and we know what good things that dog has done at stud. So looking forward to seeing the further development of Cheers Jacks, race 5, number 3. The second of your key plays? Yeah,
I'm going to kick it off. 7-8 Simplicity. This is a dog trained by Cody Charles. Can't normally tip this dog, Shorty. It goes around 120, 130 most weeks, but it was actually defeated last week by the dogs here in 6 and 7. And I think the reason was it was on the quick backup from Monday, so it's had the week off this time, and it's just a winning machine, as we know, Shorty, winning 29 of 55. And some of these dogs drawn underneath it, they've only had a 19 start for 6 wins. I think Simplicity will get his way down the outside tonight, and I don't know, I haven't seen any markets yet, but I thought it would have been black odds, and I thought it would be a very good chance to win race 7, number 8, Simplicity tonight, Shorty.
Race 7, number 8, Simplicity to bring up win number 30. And the third of your plays tonight there at Northam.
Yeah, I just noticed this race has been decimated with scratching. Probably it's not going to affect our chances, but race 12, number 1, Best Red Machine, trained by Joe Daly. It dropped back last week from the 500 to the 297 and was very good, winning from box 7. I just looked down through its form. It's just had a horror run with draws. Finally draws box 1 here, and it's 1 from 1 out of the cherry. So hopefully the Joe Daly magic can shine, and we can bring us home a winner in the last race, 12, number 1, Best Red Machine. Best Red Machine in the red, coming off victories at 3 of its last 5 from wide draws in good time. 17-19 and 17-22 are the 2 that really leap off the page at you on the way through there. A Tommy Shelby moment to 12. Pup, and great to see Sarah Appleton as the owner there. Good morning to you, Sarah. If you tune in today, good luck with Best Red Machine. Hope it does run particularly well for you. All right, then, train. We've got 5-3, Cheers Jacks, 7-8, Simplicity, 12-1, Best Red Machine as your key 3 plays on the program today at Northam. Is there anything from the kennel that you're taking up the hill there tonight that's worth having a little something on? Oh, I thought it could be one of those nights, Shorty, where if we got a bit of luck, we could win a couple of races, but also, if you didn't get any luck, you could come home with duck eggs. But race, just getting up now, that Country 5-6, that's probably one of the hottest Country 5-6s I've ever seen. The red's out now, which is probably going to help me. It's won its last 2 or 3 in good style. Page 1 News is a 29.60 dog. Miss Ronnie Mack led all the way last 2 starts ago. So my 2 dogs in 4 and 5, I couldn't really split them. Lochinvar Hawk, I'm glad they're boxed that way though. Lochinvar Hawk will head to the fence, and Ripper Moses will run a straight line. But I can't really split them. And just deeper into the card, again, unfortunate for her, because Curious Georgia went up there and tried on Saturday, and she absolutely flew around there, Shorty. But again, these small fields are not really her cup of tea, because we need her to find the front, which I think she will quite easily off her sections on Saturday morning. And then in a full field, there's likely to get a bit of messy in the first corner and leave her a long way in front. But again, the small field is going to probably allow one of the stronger dogs to get straight in behind her. So I don't know if she can win tonight, but she can definitely be worth following up there. If she runs it out okay tonight, I'm going to go back next week. And just a full field, doesn't matter what box she draws. Her splits are electric. I think she went 5.53, 10.52, 15.90 at Mandurah last start, and obviously fell in the hole. But again, there was a 5-dog field, and there was something up her backside. So don't know if it's going to be tonight, but just keep following her, and we need a full field, and the boxes don't seem to matter her, because the speed is lightning. So, just keep an eye out for her in the future.
All right, so there's a bit of splintering going on there. We're basically just letting him through to the keeper by the sounds.
Well,
come on, great man, give us something. Look, you've just told us on the way through that Rippin' Moses, the trip to Adelaide's been excellent for the dog. It's come out and dropped to 27.46. Lochinvar Hawks was up there in Darwin, wasn't going to its best. Come on now, give us one. Give us one out of the bunch tonight. There, it's okay. If they get beat, but surely you've got a feeling for one of them tonight.
Yeah, well, you get egg on your face, don't you? If you tip one, and
you're tipping 3 other dogs already for tonight. So what's one more bit of yoke across the cruet if that's how it pans out? You also get the glory if you get it right too. Don't forget the other side of the bar. You get the glory if you get it right.
I'm not here for the glory, great man, but we'll go Rippin' Moses, then race 8, number 5. You've made me pull that splinter out, and we'll go for him. He was really good on Saturday night, and he'd be full of confidence after that win, and he actually loves it up at Northam. So, as Mr. Ronnie Mack comes out, we're in a bit of trouble, but like I said, that's a pretty hot grade 5-6, one of the best I've seen up there, to be honest, and probably with the one coming out now, takes a little bit of speed out of it as well, so... Okay, Rippin' Moses, you've forced me into it, Shorty.
I like it. Yeah, no, well, it's all it took. Just a little bit of encouragement, Shano. I knew you had it in you. So we got there in the end, which is excellent. Rippin' Moses, the dog freshly back from South Australia. Very good record track and trip and ready to roll for this evening's program, race 8, number 5, Rippin' Moses. Anything else to report, Shano, before we bid you a farewell on this Thursday morning?
No, not a great deal, Shorty. Looking forward to getting back into the studio with you tomorrow morning and going through the weekend's plays and catching up with the boys, and hopefully we tip a few more winners for the punters out there on the Jet Set. Yeah,
look forward to the Jet Set podcast tomorrow, and we'll handball across to you for our VIP industry guest as well, Shano. So you can get on the blower there today and see who you'd like to get on the program for us tomorrow as our VIP.
We'll have to chase someone up, Shorty, and make sure it's a good one, because we've had a bit of a spell from there due to me not being at home. So, we'll get a good one there for tomorrow.
I like it. Now you're back. I'll look forward to our VIP, the guest there tomorrow on the Jet Set podcast. Excellent work from you, Shano. 5-3, Cheers Jack, 7-8 Simplicity, 12-1 Best Red Machine tonight at Northam. Best from the kennel, race 8, number 5, Rippin' Moses. We got it out of him. Excellent work. Thank you very much, Train. We will catch you in here tomorrow for the Jet Set. Until then, many winners.
Take care. Good luck, punters.
There we have it. It's great to have him back in town, the Shane Train Williams, a very important part of the team here on Great Greys, as well as the Jet Set podcast for tomorrow. Another man who fits the bill there is the one and only Jason Campbell. He's also joining us on this Thursday morning to have a look at Queensland and Tasmanian chasing. Hello, JC. How do we find you on this Thursday morning?
Yeah, I won't get a better entry to that, so thank you for that, Shorty. I appreciate that. It's wet and windy here in Sydney, absolutely pouring down, so I'd probably rather be over in WA right now, I'd say.
Fine and sunny over here at the moment, JC. Yeah, so if you could morph yourself over here, you'd certainly have the tank top and the board shorts on, I'd suggest. It's beautiful weather, and looking forward to more of it over the next little bit. Now, let's get into your thoughts for tonight's chasing. We've got interesting program tonight up there at Albion Park, and I see we're back punting down there in Tassie tonight as well. We'll start off, though, there at the Creek. Who do you like at Albion Park for this evening?
Yeah, well, Albion Park tonight, there's got to be plenty of rain up there also, so I think you want to be on some strong dogs. And I think race 6, number 2, can start us off a winner, Mean Girl. I just think this is a race where Speedy Scrub and Box 4 will lead this race up pretty easily. There's a lot of dogs drawn outside that are stepping up in distance, and I don't think they're really 5-20-metre dogs, so I think they'll be vulnerable late in the piece. Mean Girl, she was probably outclassed there last week in the feature race behind Duffman. She gets back to a normal 5th grade race here. She gets back to an inside box, and as mentioned, she's probably the strongest dog in this race. Hopefully she can park just off the speed and come over the top late.
Excellent. Race 6, number 2, Mean Girl, the first of the plays tonight up there at Albion Park. And then we're saving your best until late.
Yeah, race 9, number 1, Hilltop Prince. This dog is coming off a full fortnight ago at Casino. I think as long as he comes through that run okay, and the money suggests he has, he should be really hard to beat in this race. He's clearly the best dog in this race. His personal best, 29.98 over this track and trip, is really, really fast. He's drawn well in box 1. I think he can just sit hopefully second or third and be too strong late in the piece.
All righty, so we've got race 6, number 2, Mean Girl. Race 9, number 1, Hilltop Prince, the best bet there tonight at Albion Park for Jace Campbell. And now we head down to Tasmania. They've got chasing there this evening at Hobart. Who do you like on that card?
Yeah, much better card this week, Shorty, and I'm looking to rip right in, I guess. Race 1, number 1, Steph for 3. You've seen a lot of NBA named dogs down there. Draymond, Steph for 3, Curry for 3, also in this race. So good to see the Tasmanians tune into the American basketball there. I think this bitch will be really hard to beat. She was really heavily commissioned on Tuesday over this track and trip, and she scored really well out of this box. Don't think this race is any harder, and I think she can make it 2 from 2. In the span of 3 days to start her career.
All righty, race 1, number 1, Steph for 3. And if you were along at Hoops Fest last week, that might be a nice omen pick for you. We had Kenny the Jet Smith in town, as well as Camilo Anthony here courtside last week at JC. Absolute highlights for NBA fans from years gone by, and especially Kenny the Jet, one of the real characters of the NBA, and he was very popular, let me tell you. I'd like to have $1 for every selfie he had to stop for.
Well, I really enjoy watching him and Shaq and Kenny and Charles and Chuck, on the ESPN program. I forgot what it's called now, TNT Live or whatnot. So it's sad to see those guys go, but it was good memories, I guess. Don't be sad it's over, be happy it happened.
Yeah, big style. We move on to race number 8 for the next of your key plays this evening at Hobart.
Yeah, unfortunately, a deduction in the morning has left this girl really short. But race 8, number 8, Red Stiletto. She was a good winner last week at Launceston over the middle distance. I think she returned to her pet track and trip. She's had 8 starts over this track and trip for 4 wins and 3 placings. I think she's really well boxed in the 8. She does like to use a bit of the track. And as mentioned, off that 600-metre run, she should be really strong late in the piece. And, the reduced field probably does fall into her hands as well. So race 8, number 8, Red Stiletto, the best bet of the night for me down in Hobart.
Like it, the BB there, the Fairy Floss runner in race 8, number 8, Red Stiletto. And we're rounding it out in race number 9.
Number 7, Gaslock, should be really hard to beat here. He's clearly the best dog in this race. He really likes wide boxes, does like to use the track early. And you just have to go back to his last start where he ran a personal best 25.95. Don't really see many dangers in this race. Tagline's probably the threat late in the piece. You might be able to chuck him into your trifectas and your first fours. But Gaslock should be hopefully off and gone to close out the night at Hobart.
I like it. That is the third and last of the plays tonight at Hobart. 1-1, Steph for 3. Race 8, number 8, Red Stiletto, the best of them. And race 9, number 7, Gas Lock. JC, excellent work from you, as always, this morning here on GREYS. We appreciate your time and can't wait. The big fellow's back tomorrow in the studios. It's been a few weeks waiting, but he can't wait to rejoin your good self tomorrow there on the Jet Set podcast, all courtesy of Tab Touch. That'll all be dropping early tomorrow afternoon. So look forward to our chat there and finding plenty of winners with you at Wentworth Park there on Saturday night.
Not a problem, Shorty. All the best, mate.
Good man, Jace Campbell joining us this morning with his thoughts at Albion Park as well as Hobart. It's now 25 minutes after 10 here on TAB Radio. Our first race for broadcast on the program today will be at 10:47. It's race number 1 from Ipswich. We have an odds-on favourite in Mr. Tadashi at $1.60. Smelter at $2.60. $8 for Lady Pavati. Then we're out to 23 for Honor Bright and Majestic Angel. 41 for Defic, and the Manipulator is a $101 chance. It is, though, now time to catch up with our Hall of Famer, the great man Neil Brown joins us on GREYS on this Thursday morning. Hello, Neil.
How are you going, David?
Going beautifully, thank you. Well, last week we caught up and you'd been catching up with Anthony Koutafidis, the great man. Any VIP celebrities that you've been catching up with this week, Neil?
Well, I had a wonderful day on Friday at the Medalist Lunch at the Hyatt in the city and sat with luminary figures like Simon Madden and Jason Johnson and, some fantastic ex-great players of our game, and it's a wonderful lunch every year, which I am lucky enough to get along to. But, had a great day on Friday. So I've been rubbing shoulders with some outstanding people in the last week.
As have they. They've been very lucky to have you in their company as well, Brownie. Well, no doubt it's a bit of a unique feel and a little bit of a different feel grand final week, but with a couple of Eastern State sides. We've got Sydney taking on Brisbane in the grand final. Before we get into your thoughts for tonight there at Sandown, have you got a bit of a feel for what the grand final might be like? And also just give us a feel for what the buzz is like around town. Does it still feel like a big grand final week, even though there's no Melbourne teams in the big one this year?
Always, David. It's always a buzz week. I love it. Been to plenty way back in the day when I was a young fella and right through. Look, it promises to be a terrific game, doesn't it? Both teams are in great form. I just got a feel about Brizzy. I think they've got that hunger from last year, and they've stormed into the grand final with two outstanding performances, particularly to get up from such a long way down. In the week before last weekend, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sydney won it as well. They're in very good form, and it's nearly about your best players being at their absolute max, isn't it? You know, but I think it promises to be a very entertaining game, David. Yeah,
I'm with you. I can't see it being anything but really tight, to be honest. Both of these sides have come from awkward positions within game over the last few weeks to win. So regardless of sort of if it gets out to a 4 or 5 goal margin at some stage of the game, you can just see the opposition side working their way back into it, and it's going to be a beauty. I think either team under 15.5 was around about 255 with Tab Touch, and if, like me, you're looking for a tight grand final, but you're not really 100% sold on who you want to be teaming up with, I think that might not be a bad play to give you an interest on the big game this time around. And Brownie, we were lucky enough to find as our roughie last year for the Norm Smith Bobby Hill at 100-1. Well, I couldn't find a 100-1 chance this time around, but I do think that the $31 on offer about Ashcroft for Brisbane is a little bit of over the odds. He's a fine young player. If Brisbane are to win, he's likely going to be one that gets sort of largely left alone, with most of the focus going on some of the bigger names like Zorko and Lockie Neal and the likes. I just thought he might be one to keep an eye out for. He's very noticeable with the way that he looks within a game, and he's had some pretty good games the last two finals, so he might be one to watch out for if you're looking for one at big odds in the Norm Smith medal around that $30 range.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, David. They tell me his younger brother's coming into the fold as well, so and an outstanding youngster as well. So, gee, not too many produce the Dacos brothers, and now we'll have the Ashcroft brothers up at Brisbane. So, they tell me he's a very, very smart player, this youngster. But he's a nice type and nice odds, David. That's the sort of odds we want, isn't it?
Oh, big time. Yeah, you don't have to have too much on. It's a little something to give you an interest on the big game, and fingers crossed we can do something like what we did last year with Bobby Hill at the 101. Now, let's see, Brownie, if we can't make a few bucks for the punters tonight there at Sandown. We'll kick things off, as we always do, with the early quaddie this evening there. It all gets underway WA time, 9 minutes past 4, first leg of this quaddie, and some nice dogs going around in the first here as well. Whiskey Trip in particular is one from the Vicky Wiesner camp that has made a bit of an impression, winning its maiden there at the Meadows in pretty slick time.
Yeah, well, I've left it out, David, so there you go. I think it's a really hard race. It's got the empty box now. I think the 10's gone into the 8, hasn't it? But, I'm just not sure about the draw out there again. And its run last week was, anyway, it is favourite, but I've left it out. I've got Beautiful Story on top from box number 2, but I'm taking 4 in it. I think it's a wide open race, 2, 6, 5 and 4 for the mixed 6th and 7th grade over the 500. But feel free to throw the favourite in if you can afford it, David. But I'm going 2, 6, 5 and 4. Second race, mixed 6th and 7th grade final here over the 515. Good race. I'm taking 3, 8 and 1. I've got Poor Vortex on top. It's only lightly raced, had a couple of starts, but looks to have a big motor, and I think it can get the money there. In race number 3, very open. I think the draw helps the 1 here. Grade 5 over the 515. I've got Aston Ping on top, but certainly chances to 7 and 3. And in the last leg of the early quad, I think it's a very difficult race. I've gone wide again, 8, 7, 4 and 1 for the grade 5 here. And I've got the 8 on top, Spencer. It's been in very, very good form. And having its first start here at Sandown Park. But little Bo Rhapsody, he can run a race, but he'll need some luck from 4. I think he's a chance in at our chaser there. Going to the main quad, David, race number 5. We've got the Vale Ray Canine. We lost Ray last week. The highly respected Gippsland trainer, wonderful bloke, Ray. And we'll miss him. I've gone 6, 2 and 8 here in this first leg. Bunstorm, pretty impressive winner of the South Australian Oaks. She went terrific last week. She is the fave, and I think has won here in 29.48 and has performed quite well here at Sandown. I think the 2's a chance, Shimmer Steel. He came out running. He was probably outclassed last week. He's back in his right grade this week and drawn okay in 2. I think the 8's a chance as well. Paul Lulu, it's got a big motor. Just got to overcome the 8 tonight. Race number 6, here the free-for-all, 500. It's a ripper race. Gee, there's some chances here. Some very, very well-performed Sandown dogs. Very hard to look past in the hub from box number 1. It is his draw. He can miss it, though, and if he makes a mistake tonight, he's got some dogs to beat. Our bloke, Bagman, he's won 4 from his last 5. He's got beaten a Pimple in the other one here at Sandown. He's got a heap of early pace. And so in the hub won't want to make a mistake. He'll be right there. Fred Rose is racing in his career best form. His last 3 have been outstanding performances. He's won 7 here. And Elite Alex has won 8 on the track. And is a top-class performer here at Sandown Park. He's got to overcome box 8 tonight, but he's hit form in a couple of starts. It's a good race. I'm going 1, 2, 4 and 8 because I think it's wide open, the free-for-all. Race number 7, here over the 515 metres, a grade 4. Handy race here. I think it's a few chances as well. I'm taking 1, 4, 3 and 5. I like Dundee Rebel. He's got a wonderful record at Sandown. He's a class campaign. He's been around a while. 8 and 13 from 32 here at Sandown. He knows his way around the place. Certainly chances to Werris Bale and Silky Sauce can come out. Has some early speed. And Ashton Figure, I think, a chance as well. A really good third leg of the quaddie with a number of greyhounds that can win the race there. 1, 4, 3, 5. Coming home with the quaddie, race number 8. I've gone 4, 3 and 8 here over the 595. It's a free-for-all. Kenya All Class. Very impressive last week. Made it 3 on the trot after winning well at the Meadows. And I think can win again. It is short, $1.70. Looks the one to beat. Fernando Duke. It's got the empty box inside now with the scratching of Succeed. So I think a chance is one here in 34 and 15. And the Pink back from about a 5-week spell for Irish Millie. And she'll be fresh and can run a good race as well, I think. So 4, 3 and 8 coming home in that quaddie. We got it last week, David, and we got a couple of our rougher ones that put a bit of value in it, didn't it? So let's hope we can repeat the dose tonight. We've got a big night at Sandown. Handball competitions. Russell Robinson and his band are there. We've got a big fundraiser for Rotary. So, and $5 a schooner. You can't beat that, can you, David? We have a tremendous night at Sandown.
I tell you what, I wish I could have borrowed Doctor Who's TARDIS and just morph myself over there for some of that action tonight. Sounds like a wonderful evening. Just quickly, is there a best bet amongst them tonight, Neil?
Well, I thought race 10, number 1, I do like Dennis and Frisbee. It's about $3.10 now, which is fairly good value. Beautifully drawn in box number 1. It's racing quite well. I think the draw might be able to get it home tonight. It has won here in 34.10, so that's my best. Race 10, number 1, Dennis and Frisbee. So looking forward to greyhound racing at Sandown Park tonight. Always a very up night with the grand final on Saturday and a holiday here in Melbourne tomorrow.
Oh, isn't that lovely? You make sure you enjoy the grand final parade there, Neil. Wonderful catching up with you, and good luck with your 2 runners tonight as well. You're having a really good run in the ownership stakes at the moment, so fingers crossed that can continue for many more months to come. Good luck. Enjoy grand final eve night there this evening there at Sandown. It promises to be a magnificent evening. All the very best.
Good on you, David. Thanks, mate.
There we have it. Neil Brown joining us, the Hall of Famer and an absolute special man in our industry. He has been for such a long period of time, promoting it like very few others. Let's catch up now with Sean Matheson, and they've got a huge night to look forward to this evening at Angle Park as well. Of course, the match race, SA v the All-Stars. There's 4 of them, and there's some big names amongst them. Let's welcome him, Sean, on this Thursday. Hello there, Sean Matheson. How do we find you on this Thursday?
Oh, terrific, David. Yeah, great to be on the show. And as you mentioned, this is one of my most favourite nights of the year, where we have our SA versus the All-Stars, the best dogs in Australia come to South Australia, match up against the best of our locals in match racing, which I just love the concept around it. And obviously the winner overall time-wise books their spot in the Group 1 Adelaide Cup in 2 weeks' time. So there's an awful lot riding on it for the locals and the interstaters. And as you mentioned, we've been very, very fortunate to attract some of the best greyhounds in the country for this series. And the nominations we had were outstanding from interstate, and we're very rapt. Our locals have decided to take on the challenge and race against some of these dogs they probably never would have dreamed of racing against head-to-head. So it's a really exciting night, race 3. It's a really thrilling series.
Big time, and a couple of the dogs that came across here for the Sandgroper are involved. The winner, Hector Fawley, and also Morton. They're massive names in Australian greyhound racing, and no surprise to see them towards the head of betting. Hector Fawley is the second favourite at $2.65, but it's the Jason Thompson trained Excavation who is our current favourite on the fixed odds with Tab Touch at $2.35, and a greyhound that's run some scintillating times of late, including a 29.13 there at Sandown and also a 29.71 at the Meadows. A hot kennel, wonderful trainer, and a very promising young greyhound in Excavation takes on probably the sort of dog that gets back but then charges home and can really put the time on the clock. Hector Fawley. It'd be really, really interesting watching the clock with these two chasers tonight, Sean.
Oh, most definitely. And to be fair, the All-Stars have the advantage, you would think, on form ahead of the locals, but we've always seen, upsets in these types of racing. We saw Fiorano beat Panama Pepper last year, and Panama Pepper was $1.15. So it can happen. But, I just think the quality of the interstaters, the depth of form that they present, as the dogs you've mentioned, the likes of Hector Fawley, Morton, Tim Zoo, who's an Australian Cup winner, their resumes are, unmatched with a lot of dogs in Australia, and Excavation, which heads the markets and leads off the series, has been a bit of a boom dog. I think he's a real up-and-comer, and I think through the Brisbane Carnival, when he was the fastest qualifier for the Group 1 Brisbane Cup, I think going 29.47, something like that, and just blitzed the opposition. Ended up running 4th in the final, but I think it really stamped himself as a dog on the rise, and he'll get his opportunity tonight to really set a standard. And this is what this series has done over the years. The dogs who have come here, who have won, and we saw it with Scalacci last year. What a ride Tauji had with that greyhound after winning the match race series off to the Phoenix, and it just presents that opportunity for these dogs, for their careers to firmly be established or get kicked along.
Yeah, absolutely. Things can really open up, that is for sure and certain. Let's go through your key plays for tonight's 11-race program there at Angle Park, Sean. All of the action gets underway at WA time tonight there at 10 minutes past 5. Who are we having a bet on this evening?
So we'll concentrate with one of my best bets on the match race series, as we've already discussed. And earlier in the week, I felt that for the overall win, the Excavation was just, I felt the dog to beat. I felt that he would run the time standard early in the night, early in the series, I should say. He takes on Eula Bale, who's broken the track record over 342 metres here at Angle Park on 2 occasions recently. So this will be the absolute speed battle of all the matches. But I think Excavation, that'll push him along, and I think he'll be the overall winner. So he's quoted around that $2.40 mark. I just think he'll just set the time, and he might just be too hard to beat. So I'm looking forward to seeing what all 4 matches can do. Just on that, David, the coverage that we have, we'll also have the inside the boxes coverage that we always have, and is a bit of a thing that South Australia does, and provides wonderful promotion of the sport and the greyhounds themselves. So that'll be a highlight. So hopefully we'll see that with dog won in race 3, getting the win for us.
All right, and just for that, punters, if you haven't seen it in the past, do tune in. It's literally a camera within the boxes with the dog, so you get to see exactly what they are doing, whether they're pawing at the lids or up and down or nice and still. You get to see it all happening. It is a really unique angle and a very different way of looking prior to the bunny arriving and the dogs getting out of the lid. So that'll be another highlight there tonight. On to the second of your play, Sean.
Second of the plays, David, comes up in race 8, and it's number 3, Springvale Reader for Gavin Harris. I was impressed with her performance last week. This is a final. There were heats last week. So over the 595, she ran 34.46, had really good early splits, was strong to the line. And Gavin Harris always has a really decent middle distance and staying type in his kennel, and I think she's a real progressive type. Drawn a bit close to the rail, I think that'll suit her. I'd love to see her leading or just sitting second. And I think she can be too strong for opposition tonight. And she's quoted around that $3.60 mark, so I reckon that's not a bad price.
Okay, race 3, number 1, race 8, number 3, and the third of your plays tonight there, Sean?
The third of them comes up in the following race, and it's race 9, and it's number 3, Zinfandel Party for Stuart Barber. A couple of handy fourths recently over the 5:30, but 3 runs ago, one over the 5:95 in 34:51, led throughout there. That was a really good performance. She's probably stepping up to a bit stronger class here, but I think she just looks the absolute obvious leader. And if she's out in front and she runs that sort of time, her opposition is going to take a bit to beat her. So I think her being out in front, running along, she is the favourite around that 225 mark, but I think she'll be really, really hard to catch.
All righty, so race 3, number 1, race 8, number 3, race 9, number 3. Just keep your eyes peeled as well, punters, on a couple of ex-WA dogs. I note that Pudding Manelli has found itself across there in South Australia. It goes around in the first race, takes on the very talented Grand Tourer, but keep your eyes peeled for Pudding Manelli. It was winner of a couple of races there at Mandurah in good times, 27.23 and 27.28, prior to running 4th behind Molfetta Cruz in a free-for-all recently. So keep your eyes peeled for Pudding Manelli heading forward across there in South Australia. And the other dog worthy of note is Gouda Manelli, who was a good winner last week there for Nicole Price in 30 and 65, moves to box 6 tonight, but it's in with pretty decent claims if it can reproduce that effort from last week as well. And Care Factor was the other dog that raced across here in WA for a period of time and is now based over there in SA, and it was in the winners list there as well. So good to see a few of the former Sandgropers producing the goods over there in SA, Sean.
Oh, we love them coming across into our mix of dogs, whether they get transferred into our local trainers or, as we've seen through our carnival, David, getting the Western Australia participation over here is fantastic for our series. And the dogs you've mentioned, they come here with really good form as well. So it really adds to the mix. Just of note, in that race 6, you mentioned Gouda Manelli. I think his chances have improved significantly. Number 2, This Train, is a late scratching, which was the odds-on favourite. So it's a late scratching, so it's out. So his chances have greatly increased with that greyhound coming out.
Indeed. We've also got Chasing Murray Bridge Friday, Angle Park on a Saturday, and then on a Sunday we're off to Gawler. Anything of note there for the punters, Sean?
So just, again, one at each venue for the punters. Tomorrow, Murray Bridge, I like race 9, number 6, Kiki. I've tipped her a few times on the show, David. She drops back to 395 metres here from running over 5:30 and the middle distance. She's only had 2 starts over the 395 very early in her career, and she's won both of them. Just think she might be able to recapture some of her very best form there at Murray Bridge tomorrow. So race 9, number 6, Kiki. The time-graded meeting Saturday morning, and so it's not too early for you, David, when you're out on the town. We'll go to race 10 as one of our best vets, number 7, Ashby Jazzy for Kevin Bewley. Again, a dog that's been probably running over more 500 metres in probably better company than she meets here. Back to the 342, wide draw suit, so she'll be really hard to beat. And then Sunday at Gawler, I like race 6, number 1, Pet Detective for Ben Rawlings. This is a heat of our country cup. Desperately unlucky at Murray Bridge last week over the 5:30. He was a very strong performance in just running second, just beaten. But from box one, he loves box one at Gawler. He should just be leading and winning there.
Very nice. Race 9, number 6, Kiki, Murray Bridge Friday, Angle Park Saturday. Race 10, number 7, Ashby Jazzy, and Gawler Sunday. Race 6, number 1, Pet Detective, one for the Ace Ventura fans to round it all out. Beautifully done, Sean. Appreciate your time as always. Really looking forward to the All-Stars v the locals there tonight in those match races, and can't wait to catch up again next week here on Great Greys. Go well.
All right, thanks, David. Always appreciate it.
It is time now to catch up with our great mate Simon Orchard. Another massive few days ahead in New South Wales chasing. Can see all of the action there on thedogs.com.au, where this man does some of his best work. He now joins us on the program. Hello, Simon.
Forward tease there, mate. Thedogs.com.au tomorrow night at the Gardens in particular for the Blacktop final. I'm sure you've had a look at the field, mate. It is an absolute beauty. You mentioned Sunset Fraser last week. I think he lived up to expectations well and truly. Second fastest qualifier for the final. Probably got a little bit tired late, but I think everyone, including Michelle Sultana and Daryl Thomas, expected it, mate. Now he's drawn box 7. Why don't we dive straight into the feature? What do you think? Does that suit him, getting out in front early from box 7 on the Gardens, which is tight turning and certainly favours leaders?
Yes, it does. I think if Sunset Fraser can just use that muster, roll across and get to the top, you'd think there'd be certainly some improvement from that run last week. You certainly would expect that the second look and the opportunity to be a little more familiar with the circuit would be in the dog's favour, and wouldn't be at all surprised to see it trim up a couple of lengths at least off that performance last week. So certainly looms as a great each-way bet, around that $4 and $1.65. You'd think up on top of the speed, it's very unlikely that Sunset Fraser would miss top 3. And if you have a look at the dog's career record, a $1.65 place bet about a dog that's had 27 starts for 25 top 3 finishes is probably not a bad bet.
Couldn't have said it better myself, mate. I'll host. You can be the expert next week because it's a pretty good summation of what's happening. 488 first section, and I spoke to Michelle and Daryl straight away after that heat performance, and they said, yeah, I think you can go a fair bit quicker. So that's probably the scary prospect. I guess the query, wide boxes, big races, you got Nat El Sheba went within 100th of the track record from box 4. There isn't a dog going better than this fella in New South Wales at the moment, and that's a big statement considering Good Odds Cobber's down in box 2, coming off a Group 1 win in the Megastar as well. And I think that's the fly in the ointment. Nat El Sheba should run a pretty straight line to the first bend. If he provides a little bit of cover from the outside dogs that want to come down to the rail, I'm talking I'm a Mustang, maybe even gets laid early, potentially once they spin around that first bend through the catching pen, then Good Odds Cobber, Shorty, could just get the run of the race. If it's tucked in behind Sunset Fraser, certainly stronger, I think, than that dog, but I guess it's a matter of how far can Sunset Fraser get out in front. Pace from You Never Lose in box 8 as well. The other Sultana runner is going to make it really interesting, and this is why the box draw, when it came out, added so much intrigue, because all of a sudden you've got a lot of pace out wide. You've got Nat El Sheba, as I mentioned, box 4. You've got a bit of pace from Boston Banner in box 3, and even Starburst Millie, who jumps from box 1, who's the rank out fighter. Well, she went 4.96 to the first mark last week, which is just under a length outside Sunset Fraser. So she could be pushing up as well from the inside. So, look, it's a wonderful race. At the moment, the Hound, our form expert, has Sunset Fraser on top from Nat El Sheba, but I just tend to think if Good Odds Cobber can get that run in behind the speed on the fence, he's in really, really good form. A dog who's won 26 of 44 starts, is Group 1, Group 2, Group 3 winner all this year and headed towards the $1 million chase already. That's my tip, but Sunset Fraser could blow them all away early and hang on late and win as well, Shorty. So it's going to be a wonderful race at the Gardens tomorrow.
We'll be cheering hard for Sunset Fraser, but you're 100% right. That last little bit of the 500 really does test out Sunset Fraser, so we'll be certainly hoping it can pinch that mid-race buffer. If a dog like Good Odds Cobber was pretty close up in that rear view mirror turning for home, there'd be certainly some nervous moments, but that's why we're suggesting the $1.65, and even if you like to sort of play novelties and the like, it's a really nice dog to bank up into second and third because it's so very reliable in that capacity. Let's have a look at some other meetings. I'll just handball you across to you for your better plays all over New South Wales over the next little patch. We've got, of course, a big program to look forward to tonight there at Wentworth Wentworth Park, and really good chasing as well right throughout the course of the weekend. What have you come up with for the punters?
Yeah, we'll start at Wentworth Park, Shorty, which at the moment is still on. Just a query weather-wise today in New South Wales, we've already had Muswellbrook abandoned, so stick to the Dogs' socials for updates. There's no suggestion Wentworth Park is off at the moment, but it is raining, and it's been raining for the last 12 or so hours, so make sure you stick to the socials. If you're going to have the play, though, race 8, number 1, Cindy Keeping for Shemaine Roberts and Shane Stiff. Look, the only query I've got here is Tulsi Banner, Shorty, out in box 8, a Group 1 winner earlier this year in the Peter Mossman Opals, gone 29.5 at Wenty, and's got that blinding early speed. She just missed it last week, completely missed it at the Gardens in her heat of the blacktop. That's my only query about her. Otherwise, I think I'd have her on top. But Cindy Keeping, inside draw, a 29.45 bitch at her best. And again, you speak of Sunset Fraser being a model of consistency. Well, Cindy Keeping, 39 starts and has won 12 and been placed in 19. Box 1 record's pretty good. Loves Wentworth Park. The only query, I guess, with her, Shemaine Roberts keeps saying temperamental at box rise, can absolutely fly. At times can be a little bit laboured, but smaller field, inside draw, like Cindy Keeping, race 8, number 1 at Wenty. And then race 10, number 1, Ben Keeping, different litter, so but they just keep on producing these keeping dogs. The prefix has been so successful, a little bit shorter in the price as well, but comes out of a SA Derby. Last start running third there. So the trip to Adelaide, I think, talking to Shane off air, has added some value to this dog's racing capabilities. Still only had 3 starts, so I'm sure the upward arrow is still firmly pointing that way, and I think Ben Keeping can win as well. So it's 8-1, 10-1 at Wentworth Park. If you want to play at Casino this afternoon and get your afternoon off to a good start, 10-8 Coringa Millie is the best play up there. That's 10-8 Coringa Millie. And we've got a Nowra meeting tonight as well, the Pine Bowl. On a Thursday, race 1-7 Mount Barker and 2-4 Stilton Gypsy. Mount Barker's only had the 3 runs, 2 seconds, ran behind Danielle Zeal a couple of weeks ago. That dog's won against Synth, which is a good form reference. Ran second behind Grand Artist by less than a length last start. I think Mount Barker's knocking on the door. So 1-7 and 2-4 Stilton Gypsy. Last but not least, Shorty, if I'd have a play Saturday night at Wentworth Park, there's some wonderful Masters races on, and I say that because the Masters Meteor is just around the corner during the $1 Million Chase Carnival. Keep an eye on Yarchi Bale. So race 5, number 8, Yarchi Bale, a name that a lot of greyhound lovers know well and truly from Mark Delbridge, but coming up against some of the best older dogs we've got in the state. Father Rick, the Cumbria dogs, Rebel Ethics has been punching away in that grade as well. So I'm interested to see what 5'8 Yarchi Bale can do. We know had a bit of success up this way in the last 12 months as well. So there's some tips around the ground and the blacktop. Make sure you stay tuned. thedogs.com.au for live reaction and action tomorrow night from the Gardens.
Love it. And Yarchi Bale's back in pretty good order too right at the moment, Simon. A couple of recent runs across there in Victoria have been very good, so I'll be looking forward to seeing how that dog does go. It'll get back and then it'll be putting in that customary trademark flash home. So looking forward to seeing Yarchi Bale there at Wentworth Park on a Saturday night, a grand old campaigner. Appreciate your time as always, Simon. There's so much to look forward to in your backyard over the next little patch, and it's all, of course, on the countdown to the $1 Million Chase. It is just around the corner. It's Friday, the 18th of October. There will be plenty of people in attendance, and I've started practicing my kicking from 40 metres out to get that ball into the bin. I'm going to take home the 100,000 with me as well, Simon.
Oh, that'd be nice. That's the query at the moment, Shorty. For interstaters, Victorians or, I guess, crow eaters or either people from the West, do you go with the drop punt, AFL style, or do you go for the bomb if you're a rugby league fan here in New South Wales? So there's a few different methods. We'll have to wait and see who has some success, hopefully, on the big night, October 18.
Drop punt, and the key is lots of elevation. Get up and under it, Steph Curry style. Lots of up and under, and then bang straight into the bottom of the bin and pass me the 100K. Thank you very much. I like the idea of it. Good on you, Simon. Great catching up with you, mate. We will do it all over again this time next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it, mate. The Mike Breen double bang. Good on you.
Excellent work. There we have it. Simon Orchard, tremendous to round out the program with him for today. And big program tonight there at Northern. Looking forward to that. Leah, just quickly before I handball back to you, I will give the punters those dividends for race number 1 of the day there at Ipswich. And it was the winner, of course, number 2, Mr. Tadashi, $1.90 and $1.30. Number 3, Smelter. Finished second at $1.60. No third dividend for number 7, Majestic Angel, and Lady Pavati back in fourth. Quinella $1.60. Exacta $2.50. Trifecta $11.90. The first 4 on 2, 3, 7 and 6. $18.50. And that brings to a close Great Greys for this Thursday, the 26th of September 2024. Thanks so much for your company. And Leah Ernest, wonderful having you there running the show for us today. No wonder it ran so smoothly. Appreciate your work as always. I'll be back a little bit later on from 2 o'clock this afternoon, or 3 o'clock this afternoon, I think it is, teaming up with Marty Young. We have, of course, got a truckload to look forward to. AFL Grand Final just around the corner. We've got a couple of big name guests to catch up with there. And also, don't forget the Straight Up as part of that all happening this afternoon. So looking forward to having McGinnity and Marty Young, and looking forward to a big weekend of racing here locally. Leah, thank you for your help. Have a great Thursday, punters.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.